Hello everyone, today we will be making Hello Kitty Dalgona cutout candy. It is a sweet Korean street vendor candy that has been made popular by the Netflix series Squid Game. What makes this candy fun is that you have to try to cut out the center design without cracking it. Many use a needle, but here we are trying with a toothpick and a cookie icing pick. I think the cookie icing pick works much better than a toothpick. Basically, you keep scraping the edge of the design until you think you can cut it out without cracking it. We already cracked it here, but we'll see how much further we can get. Let's try I guess the game is over now. To make the candy, you just need 2 ingredients, granulated sugar and baking soda. For the cutout, use a cookie cutter. Here we have a Hello Kitty one where the details of her face presses in and out. We have one where we stamp the face in. We have an outline and 3 little outlines of a star, heart, and flower where you would just stamp the design of Hello Kitty inside the middle. And you can use other non-Hello Kitty cookie cutters such as a cute gingerbread man. We'll also be using a silicone mat, but you can also use parchment paper instead. To flatten the cookie, we'll be using a bowl, and here we have a paper towel with oil that we're going to oil the bottom of the bowl so that it doesn't stick. We'll also be putting oil onto the edges and into the inside of our cookie cutters that we'll be using, as well as dipping them into the baking soda to ensure that they don't stick to the candy. We'll also be using a heat-resistant spatula and a small pan. To get started, we're going to pour a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar into a pan on medium heat. Try to spread the sugar around the pan so that it is distributed evenly as possible. It'll take about 3 to 4 minutes before the sugar starts to melt. Once the sugar begins to melt, we're going to mix in the rest of the granulated sugar into the melted sugar. The sugar will start turning into clumps, but just keep mixing it until it turns into a liquid form, which takes about 2 minutes. Once all the chunks have dissolved, we're going to add in another 1/4 cup of sugar, and then we're just going to mix it in together once again until all of the sugar has melted. This will go much faster. It'll probably take like a minute. Once the sugar has fully dissolved, we're ready for the fun part. We're going to take a pinch of the baking soda and sprinkle it over the sugar mixture. Then we're going to take our spatula and we're going to mix it in. You'll see a big change of color. It's going to turn much lighter and kind of orangey. At this point, the pan is pretty hot, so I'm going to lower the heat of the stove to low, but I'm going to keep mixing it on the fire in order to activate the baking soda. You can tell that it's working because it's doubling in size. I'm going to add another pinch of baking soda to ensure that the candy turns out light and airy by the bubbles that it forms, because if it doesn't, it'll turn out flat and it'll be like peanut brittle. But I don't want to add too much baking soda because it'll expand too much and it'll start burning really fast and stick to everything, and then it will not work at that point. So it's better to have less baking soda than too much. Now that the mixture is done, I'm going to pour it onto the silicone mat. I'm going to pour it in one spot so that when it spreads out, it'll be pretty round. This will make about 2 with the 4-inch diameter. Try to pour them as fast as possible without really putting it everywhere, just because we want to time how long we have waited before we press the circles with our oiled bowl. Pour them within a minute because if it takes longer, the candy may harden and the design won't press in. I found that waiting about 45 seconds to about a minute before pressing it with the bowl will allow it to be hard enough that it doesn't stick to the bowl, but not so hard that we can't press it with our cookie cutter. So timing is important at this stage. As we're waiting for the candy to set, we want to be sure that the bowl and cookie cutters are ready, that they are both oiled and ready to press the candy. Now that it's been about a minute, we're ready to go. We're going to press the bowl over the candy for about 5 seconds. Don't press it too hard, just enough so that the top is flattened. Then hopefully it releases, which it has. Now wait about 10 seconds and then place the cookie cutter on top and press in the design. And if all goes right, it'll release and not get stuck to the candy. Now we're ready to press the second candy, and I actually forgot to oil the bowl again, but hopefully it's set enough that it won't stick to the bowl. I'm going to press the second candy for about 5 seconds. Hopefully it doesn't harden and we can put the design on it. I'm going to press in the outline of Hello Kitty's face and then stamp in the inside details. This released really easy, even easier than the first one that we did. We won't be doing anything to our third blob. Now we're going to wait a couple of minutes to allow the candy to cool and harden. If they aren't cooled, they could bend and warp or even break. When they're ready to be released, just take the mat and just peel it from the bottom of the candy. Peel it off all the same way rather than doing one side and then the other side. It's much easier and it's kind of fun. Now we're ready to release the second one, which we're just going to peel right off. And now we're finished with our Hello Kitty Dalgona cutout candy. Are you ready to play the game?
Thank you for watching.